Hello, this is my second attempt at a video. The other one was crap after about 2-3 minutes. So I decided to stop it and start again. So I'm going to be careful what I say. I'm not very happy. And that's all down to one person. Again, the same person all the time that has a habit of upsetting me and making jokes about me, criticising me, treating me like a child. I can't stand it anymore. I'm just going to pretend he's not here now. I'll cook his dinners. I'll wash his clothes. I'll keep the house tidy. But apart from that, no. I don't know how I've put up with him for the last nearly 30 years. I'm an idiot. Sorry. I think I've got Stockholm Syndrome. That's when you're kidnapped and then you've got to get a relationship with your kidnapper. That's what's happened here, I think. He can be really nice. It's in the last... No, he's always been funny with me, right from the beginning. Very, very... I think his education stopped at about 11. He did go to school, but he didn't partake in any of the academic subjects. All he was interested in was sport. He had a job to go to anyway, so he didn't bother. His parents let him do what he wanted to do. Yeah, he was spoiled. Spoiled. You should never go out with a man who was spoiled as a child. Never. Yeah, he was the golden child, you see. He treats me like I'm a joke, a figure of fun, a cartoon character. He says I'm not funny. I said, yes, I am. Uh, he said, well, I've seen some of your videos. I said, no, you haven't. You saw one. And when I showed it to you, you said, yes, it's good. He hasn't got a sense of humour. Well, he has. It's 1970s style. When all the male comedians, because I don't think there were many female comedians. I can only think of Marty Kane. I think she was good, actually. But a lot of the male comedians were just really sexist and told jokes about their mother-in-laws and their wives, putting them down. That sort of humour. Well, he's stuck in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, he is. He's stuck in those two time periods. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about him anymore in this video. I'll update you now and again to tell you what's happening. It's a good job he doesn't hit me or anything. I'll be in a women's refuge by now. Apparently you can't go into one though if you haven't got children. So it's a good job he doesn't hit me. Alright then, I'll just hit him back, probably. I'm not frightened of him. Yeah. I just found a few things that I could talk about because as I haven't got a niche, I get interested in absolutely anything. You could talk to me about darts and I'd be interested. You could talk to me about your job as a dustman or a waste collector, whatever they're called today, and I'd be interested. I'm that sort of person. I like to find out new things. Alright. Let's come through the door today. I saw the little old lady deliver it. She looked like Greek or Turkish, something like that. And I thought, oh, it's not a restaurant, really. A new place to eat. I'd call it a cafe. In England, if you go to the cafe or a cafe, it's a place where they serve coffee and cakes. That is a cafe or cafe. Yeah. If you go down to the cafe, that's a bit different. That's where they sell things like fry-ups, beans on toast, fried eggs on toast, chips and sausages. You know, grub like that. Grub. Food that you would call grub. Now this is opened in Orpington High Street, which is near me. It's a good high street. They've got a takeaway menu. I think there's seating inside. I'm not 100% sure. But the menu looks quite good if you're into the fish and chips stroke calf type of food. Which, to be honest with, that's the sort of food in the past I'd stick my nose up at. I wouldn't go in there. You wouldn't see me in there. Right, snob. It's got some nice fish in here. Obviously, it's deep fried, so very fattening. But they've got a fish called rock. I don't know what that is, do you? They got cod, haddock, rock, place, skate. I've had skate wings before, but they smell of urine. Is that normal? Do they always smell like urine? Horrible. They do scampi. Well, if you buy scampi in this country, what it is, usually, it's bits of whitefish mixed with a few prawns, biggish prawns maybe, into a sort of bent sausage shape. And then it's covered in breadcrumbs or batter and deep fried. If it's 100% scampi, and it will tell you. And that is just a prawn, basically, a big prawn. Like in America, they call prawns shrimps. I like that word, shrimp. When my dad used to bring some prawns home, you know, fresh ones, we used to go mad. Oh, Dad's bought some shrimps home. We called them shrimps. Okay, yeah. One of my favourite fast foods was shrimps. Obviously not when I was small, because it'd be a choking hazard, but when I got older. Cod roe, yeah. I'm sure they're quite big, because I've got this memory of making terrible salata, and it was like a bright orange, orangey brown colour, not really any sort of shape you could describe, and it was leathery. I think the outer skin was leathery, and you had to cut the skin off to get the cod's roe out. I can't remember what it looked like, but I think it was like loads of eggs clumped together. I don't know. This is the cod's roe here. It's probably the type you can get in a tin in this country. And what you do, you get it out of the tin, you slice it up, and then you make a batter, and then you put the cod's roe in the batter, and then deep fry it. Very healthy. Fish cake. What that is, if you don't know, if you're foreign, fish cake is usually white fish, and it's usually hardly any, maybe like a teaspoon if you're lucky, mixed with mashed potato and parsley. And then it's covered in breadcrumbs, and you don't have to deep fry it, you can just fry it in a pan. You can probably heat it in the oven, you know. I like fish cakes, I do. Very cheap and nutritious. So if you're hard up, like a lot of people, I think fish cakes in the freezer section are probably a good idea for a meal. Children tend to like fish cakes. And this is a strange one. It's not a fish. Battered halloumi. That's Cypriot cheese, isn't it? What's it like? I know you fry it. It's mainly for frying. Yeah, it's mainly for frying and it squeaks. Yeah, it squeaks when you eat it. Battered though. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't eat that. And spuds. Well, what type of spuds? Spuds are potatoes, if you don't know. But they don't say what type of spuds. Mash, boiled, jacket potatoes, chips, but no, it would say chips, wouldn't it, if it was chips? So, and who would order boiled potatoes? Yeah, it's possible that it's just boiled potatoes. The most boring food ever. Oh, what's that food in South Africa they like to eat? It's polenta or fufu, but what's fufu made from? I don't think that's polenta. They call that, the one with polenta in, they call pap. P-A-P, pap. And fufu is made with another starchy vegetable. It might be yam, or cassava, something like that. But obviously if you've got the right seasoning in it and maybe a bit of cream, it could be quite tasty. I used to like polenta. I used to buy it in a block and I'd cut it into slices and then I'd fry it in oil and we'd have a chicken cacciatore with it, pretending I'm Italian. That Switzerland is near Italy, so I'm sure I've got Italian blood in me. Pies, they do pies as well. Steak and kidney pie. I used to love kidneys, by the way. A lot of people today won't eat offal, will they? What a waste. What a waste. You know, I sometimes go to the Korean or Northeast Asian or Southeast Asian supermarkets and I see all sorts of things. Chicken claws, frog's legs, all sorts of things and parts of the animal. In Switzerland once, I saw it in a pork butcher. So they had butchers for things like beef, lamb, etc. And then they had a separate butchers. I don't know if this was like all over Switzerland or just parts, but they have pork as a separate butchers. Like in France, I think. That's the pork butchers. And I couldn't believe it. In the window on this big platter, there were snouts and ears. But what's wrong with eating it? If you cook it right, it might be tasty. I think people shouldn't be squeamish. If they're eating meat, why don't they try something a little bit different? Like oxtail, for instance, which is delicious. And offal tends to be quite a lot cheaper than meat that we usually eat, like liver. And chicken's livers are very cheap. Alright, I don't usually eat like liver. That's one bit of offal. And there's some things I've never tried. I've never tried sweetbreads. That's the thymus gland. Not the thyroid gland, but the thymus gland, I think, which is there. So, I don't fancy eating that, to be honest with you. I don't fancy the idea of eating. Oh, there's this thing they eat, but they eat the stuff in the intestines of a herbivore. I don't know what culture it is, but they eat the fecal matter, which is mainly grass anyway, of a herbivore animal. I can't remember what culture it is, but I don't like the idea of eating something like that. Pig trotters, no, I couldn't eat it. Couldn't eat the foot, sorry. Oh, I hope I'm not making anyone feel sick. And sorry about if you're a vegan, maybe you're thinking, good, she's going to make more people turn vegan. If it was easier to be a vegan, I would be a vegan. In fact, if I didn't live with Morris, I probably would be a vegan. But I would take my vitamin B12 every day without fail. But I won't buy all that plant-based stuff that's already made up, because that looks awful, and it looks like a lot of it looks like imitation meat, and I think that's ridiculous. I mean, I'd probably live on soups. I love pulses, so I'd probably get a lot of wind. I would eat tofu, because it is nice in a stir fry, or a hot pot, something like that. What else would I eat? Tempeh, I've tried. That's like tofu, but it's more fermented. It's got a very rich umami flavour to it, which is quite nice. I used to sprout my own beans, so I'd eat lots of sprouts. And I try and balance it out with, fruit. And try not to eat too many gassy vegetables. But I think, in time, your intestines will probably get used to all the fibre. I'm not sure. I'd have to read up. If I was thinking of being a vegan, I would have to read up on it first. Study it. They do minced beef and onion pie, which sounds nice, and chicken and mushroom pie. They probably don't make their own pies though. They probably bring them in, from the big company that makes the pies. The sausages, they do saveloy. I think that originally comes from the French name of a type of sausage called cervelat. Cervelat. And our version is like muddled up French saveloy. See? There's a link between the French sausage and an English sausage. And a saveloy is cold. It's a slicing sausage, basically. I think it comes in an orange plastic skin that you have to cut off. You can't eat the skin, I don't think. I don't know. I've had saveloy about once. I didn't like it. Sausage, just box standard pork sausage, I suppose. A battered sausage. Not my thing. Anything battered, I'm not a fan of, really. A spring roll? Oh, something Chinese. It's interesting. And a spam fritter. My dad used to go on about spam fritters because he had them when he was a child. Everyone knows what spam is. I think every country, well, I don't know about Europe, but every country knows about spam. And what you do, you get the spam out the tin and you slice it, and then you put it in batter, and then you fry it in oil, about that much oil. And it's meant to be really tasty. Oh yes, they do chips. Oh, and they do chips in a roll. That's really good for you, isn't it? Could you imagine if you ate that food every day, how fat you would be? Chips in roll and cheesy chips. Well, they're making an effort, aren't they? It's a good menu. Chicken. And it's probably deep fried. Chicken, one piece of chicken and chips. 2 pieces of chicken and chips. Or 3 pieces of chicken and chips. Don't know what part of the chicken it is, though. Probably the leg, maybe. The breast. That's the most boring part of the chicken, isn't it, really? The breast. And you have to cook that quickly. I think it would be like chicken thighs or chicken drumsticks, something like that. Nuggets. We all know what chicken nuggets are, don't we? And a box of chicken fillet. I don't know what that is. Alright, they do quite a lot of burgers as well. I won't tell you all the burgers, it'll get too boring for you. They do a spicy bean burger. And they do a veggie burger as well. Just looking for anything really outrageous or interesting. They do a £1/4 burger and egg. Oh yeah, that's like a fried egg, isn't it? On top of the burger. Yeah, nothing exciting with the burgers. They do wraps and rolls. Halloumi wrap. That's probably quite alright. Chicken shish wrap. So that's like a kebab. Shish kebab. And a cod wrap. I don't like the sound of that. Drinks. Not a wide variety. They got coffee, tea, green tea, can of drink, bottle of drink but bigger, water and Ribena. Not much for the children there. Just Ribena. That rots your teeth like anything that does. Extras, mushy peas, lovely. I don't think anyone apart from us Brits eats mushy peas. If you've never tried them and you see them in a shop, wherever you live, try them and you will like them. Garden peas, beans, curry sauce, these are the extras. Gravy sauce, pickled onion, pickled egg, pickled gherkins, pickled onion rings, onion rings, garlic mushroom, salad, and a roll. And they do children's meals as well. Yeah, so I might pay a visit to them one day. Oh, I didn't look at the prices. Not bad at all. Yeah, not bad at all. Tea, £1. That's very good, isn't it? So if I went there, I'd probably have tea. And, something not too fattening, because I'm trying to lose weight. It's not really my type of food, that's the problem. I'd probably have the spam fritter, but I think I'd struggle to eat it. I just don't like greasy food like that. People probably saying she's lying. Look at the size of her. It's true though. This is the problem. I don't think I'm on a high enough levothyroxine yet. What do you reckon? Could you see it? It's called a goiter. It's nodules growing out of the thyroid. I don't know what they look like. I want to get it scanned, but I've got all these things coming up. I've got an X-ray on my shoulder. That's on the 24th, I think. And I've got a mammogram. Because I'm over 50 now, I have to get a mammogram, I think, every 3 or 5 years. When they basically squash your boobie flat. And I've got an appointment in May at the lung function clinic, which I'm not looking forward to, obviously. And if that's not too bad, because I'm thinking the worst, as I always do. But if that goes all right, then I will make an appointment to have this screened again, because I've only had it screened once. It's an ultrasound they do on it, and I'd just like them to see if it all is well in what they can see. They'd have to compare it to the first one that I had done, which was only about 7 years ago, something like that. Yeah, but once I'm on the right amount of medication, I will hopefully start to lose weight, and what else? I won't be so tired, my skin won't be so dry, I'll just have more energy, and probably I won't be so depressed, because I do get depressed quite a bit, but I'm good at hiding it now. Yeah, I'm good at hiding it. I'm just going to have a little break. Wait a minute. Really, I'm just deciding what to talk about next. Oh, what do I do? Pause it. Yeah, pause it. Hello. As you may know, I sponsor a cat, or cats, but one cat at a time, that's in my pen, which is located in Belfast in their rehoming centre. So it's one cat per pen, and it varies the time they spend in the pen. Obviously some cats are more difficult to rehome than others, unfortunately, and that's more or less what happened to my last cat, Twinkle. I got 3 postcards from him, so she was in the pen for a very long time. She was rehomed for a few months, about 3, but was very ill. The owners had to keep taking her to the vets, so she was put to sleep because she was very ill, and that broke my heart. And her picture is in my living room, and I will keep it up for quite a long time. I'll never forget Twinkle. Never met her, obviously. Yeah, I love cats, as you know. My latest sponsored cat is Shayla, and I've been sponsoring cats for over 5 years now. She's nice, isn't she? Can you guess how old she is? She's 10. She likes being fussed over. She dislikes feeling hungry, like most of us. And her favourite spot is a warm, cosy lap. That's nice. Sweet Sheila is sadly one of our longest staying cats. It won't be that long, because Twinkle was in that pen for a long time. She's also been in our care twice, as her owners could no longer care for her. Sheila loves a good fuss, lots of play, which is a good sign, and a comfy lap to curl up on. Her slight heart murmur doesn't holds her back and doesn't require any medication. This gentle girl hasn't had much luck of late and deserves a permanent, loving home. So if you live in Belfast, seems like Sheila would make the ideal pet. And don't forget, a lot of these types of cats, which are called moggies, because they're not pedigrees, they can live up to something like 22. So go and have a look at her. They always send me interesting things about cats. I won't read it all, obviously. I don't want to bore you to death. Just having a quick look to see what's really interesting. Oh. Most white moggies with blue eyes are born deaf. Ah. There are many ways to build a close and loving relationship with deaf moggies, such as stroking and playing. They can sense vibrations with their whiskers, and they're not likely to be as scared of the vacuum cleaner. That's not a joke. And there's so many things I don't know about cats. It's unreal. A mum cat can give birth to a rainbow of kittens. Tabby, tortoiseshell, calico, or other colours, particularly if she's mated with more than one male. Oh, so she can give birth to kittens that have got different fathers. It's unusual, isn't it? Males will always inherit their colour from their mother, whereas females will be a combination of colours from each parent. I always wonder what colour or colours Alfie's parents were, because obviously I never knew them. He was a stray, and then he was rehomed for, like, not rehomed, he was at the Cat's Protection for just a week. He was fostered. Yeah, he was fostered with the Cat's Protection League. And so I know very little about his past. But he was in good health. So I reckon he was a stray for not very long. He's not the friendliest of cats, though. He's not a lap cat. And if you call him by his name, which is Alfie, even if you go really quite high pitch, which I like, Alfie, like that, just ignores me. But he does get on well with the male in the house. He's got a higher voice than me, Morris, when he talks to Alfie. Sounds like a eunuch. Oh, Alfie! Oh, I love you, my little one. Blah, blah, blah. Then he does it really he really puts it on. When he's been horrible to me, he really pampers Alfie just to get me jealous. I don't get jealous, I just think he's an idiot. I think the cat knows he's an idiot anyway. Any more interesting things about cats? Did you know that only 1 in 3,000 tortoiseshell cats are male? Gosh. So the next time you meet a tortoiseshell cat, chances are they're female. On the other hand, roughly 2/3 of ginger cats are male. Didn't know that either. Over 70 genetic variants combine to make moggies everything from ginger to blue, striped or blotched, with tuxedos or sock markings, with even, occasionally, extra toes. About 40 of these variants affect a cat's appearance, coat colour, pattern, length, and the colour of their sparkling peepers. Did you know mum cats are known as queens? Unneutered males are called toms, so only the girls are truly royal. A neutered female cat is a molly. I didn't know that. A neutered female cat. Whereas a neutered male cat, like Alfie, cat is called a what? A gib. G-I-B, gib. Well, I never knew that is a jib. Gib or jib. I'll have to look that up. Of course, each is unique with their own name too. Yeah. So Alfie is a jib. Learn something new every day. I still haven't looked up that stool thing. You know, why in England anyway, or Britain, let's say Britain, why in Britain do the doctors ask for a stool sample instead of saying a poo sample? A stool, S-T-O-O-L. A stool like what you sit on. I wouldn't want to sit on a poo though, would you? No. Still haven't looked that one up. This is a bit like a carry on from the earlier video I made this morning. That was to sort of wake me up. And this video I made is because I was pissed off with, you know who. So it's coming up to 40 minutes. I might make another video afterwards. What am I like? But I'll have to find something to talk about. I don't think that will be a problem. I'll have a go. You don't have to watch both videos and get sort of overdosed, you know, by me. Overdosed with my videos. You'll rush to the ER or A&E one day. They say, Doctor, what do you think's wrong with him or her? I think they've watched too many Gilbertine Peach videos and they've gone mental. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make another video in a minute. So I'm going to look around and see if I can find anything interesting to talk about. In fact, I might show you some photos. Alright then, bye.